Hey y'all, and welcome to me trying to finish all of these projects before I leave for my trip. I think I can do it. I've got 5 days. Honestly, I started a couple of projects for this trip, and now is the crunch time where I gotta finish them in time if I want to bring them. All right, here we go. I made this bikini a long time ago, and I have kept the matching yarn in order to make bikini bottoms so that I have a little matching set. Yeah, the reason that I put this project off for so long is because covering your butt with crochet is a little bit of a stressful process because most of the time you can see right through the crochet, and a lot of times with things like cotton, if it gets wet or it sags or it moves out of place, it's not necessarily a very structured, and it's not denim, you know. I have decided that hot shorts is the best choice for me, and we are going to see if we can make that work. I have no idea how long this is going to take. Look at these hot shorts. How cute would that be? The next project I need to finish before this trip is this beautiful ombre yarn that I am turning into a shawl. So I got this shawl from one of my crochet magazines that I get through the public library, which you should get crochet magazines through your public library because it's free and there's thousands of them and they have hundreds of patterns and it's just all right at your fingertips. All you need is an address, I think. This is as far as I got in the pattern, and it's just so lovely that I think it would just be so nice to have at the beach or like take a little picture with. I'm just not sure. And also, if I don't finish it for this trip, I don't think I'll ever finish it. So I need to crack two. But it's, oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, just looking at it made me really excited. So I've got my one-page pattern, which has seen better days, as you can see. The reason every time I get up on the couch, my dog goes and sits on my projects, which is why all of my printed out pattern pieces look like this. I already made one of these shawls and sent it to my mom, and so I just think that it would be really fun if I had my own finish and we could wear them together and be little old ladies crocheting and drinking coffee on the balcony looking at the ocean. You see it, it's like it's the coastal grandma. My mom is a coastal grandma, and I also want to be a coastal grandma. So this will help me get there. So those are the two wearables that I was hoping to have finished up before the trip. And then the last thing that I am working on is my project that I'm going to take on the plane with me because I crochet on every airplane I've ever been on. It's the only way to pass the time. It's the best way. You're forced to sit up straight. It's really, really nice. So I started a failed yoke. Let me put it on for you. Here we go. I was making a t-shirt top in the round raglan style, and I did my increases incorrectly. So it has these like lumps that I just need to frog this entire thing. And what I like to do when I bring a project on a trip with me is to get all of the counting out of the way. So I get my starting chain, my foundation row, and like 1 or 2 rows up. So that way when I get on the plane, I can just work on the project without having to concentrate or count all that much. So I need to get this to a place where I am ready to just sort of go and I don't have to like try it on or like hold it up to myself. I just find that very awkward and also quite difficult to do in an airplane seat. So I'm going to frog this yoke and then maybe try again, or maybe I'll just follow my own pattern for my not so basic tank. I think this would be really cute to have in that color. What to start with first? I think I'll start with the shawl first, and as those words came out of my mouth, I really want to start with the hot shorts, but the shawl, hot shorts, shawl, hot shorts. I think I'm going to start with finishing the shawl because that will be a fun thing to do on the couch for today. It's the 4th of July today and my dog is afraid of fireworks, so I like to just take it easy and be on dog duty for the evening. So I think that this will be a great project for that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. When I am working on a more difficult project, which this is pretty difficult for me, this was rated as a 3 out of 4, I guess, but I always have to print out the project because I need to take notes with a pencil, at least to mark down what row I was on when I put the project down, but usually also to kind of help myself understand where the repeats are and mark up the diagram just a little bit to give myself some help. If you really like this shawl and want to try it yourself, I have linked the pattern down in the description as well. on this day, I did go out and buy a print, which is so adorable, and just some affirmation that it's not my dog's fault that he doesn't like fireworks and that this is a tough day for him. But I did have to wait for the chaos to start, and it started early. First, I wanted to show you guys the magazine that I have printed out my pattern from. It's Interweave Crochet Fall 2021, and it's mostly shawls. I'm so sorry, buddy. Give me one more second. I have finished off all of the dark blue for the pattern, which I think means I'm halfway done, and I have like this much yarn left. It's all the tan and the very light blue, so we're making our way to shore.
Are you panicking? Staying calm? Yeah, just a good boy.
Despite not sleeping that much that night, I was able to get a lot of the shawl done the next day, and then I actually did finish it that evening, but not before we went and celebrated our own little 4th of July with some karaoke. Wow, that was just the spark and motivation that I needed, and I finished the shawl. The high today is 100, so I cannot dry my hair. I have to let it air dry. And it's actually really nice in this type of heat to just have some wet hair to kind of cool you down. It's like a shawl. Speaking of, I finished the Morass Shawl by Natasha Robarge, which you can find also on Ravelry. I looked it up, so I'll link that. And then I also told you what magazine it's from during the chaos of fireworks. So you can find them at either place. So I'm going to definitely bring this with me and wear it, but it's not necessarily something that I would have in my like day-to-day wardrobe. So I'm thinking once I'm done with it, I might hang it up and just have it as like a decor piece on the wall. I think it would look so pretty. And I asked my husband what it reminded him of, and he said a sunset, which I was asking if it really looked like the ocean and like the dark water going down to the sandy shore. And he said it looked like a sunrise, and he's right, this does look like a sun. This is like the sun, and these are its little rays. So now I need to make a third one in like an orange and pink color palette. Wouldn't that be so pretty? Very excited. The last project that I need to get done before I leave are the hot shorts. So I only have 3 balls of this yarn. Each one of these is 186 yards, and I have 3 of them. So I do have these other colors. I've got some orange, which goes nicely with the color palette, and then I've got these teal ones, which are also featured in as kind of like accent colors that I can add in order to improve the lifespan of the 3 colored yarns that I have. Okay, I'm gonna make the waistband out of this and then do some solid stripes, just going by the eye test, what it looks like I'm gonna have, because there's a chance that this could make a full pair of shorts. I have no idea, and I'm not gonna do a gauge swatch to figure it out. We don't have time, we just gotta go. Plus, when I do a gauge swatch, my math is never right anyway, so I might as well not do one. Let me show you the other pair of shorts that I've made using this method. This is like the method to create shorts. Here we go. It has a waistband, and then this is the part that fits over the widest part of your hips, and then the idea is that it kind of shrinks up to fit over your waist, and then you attach your yarn and work in the round going down. And then once you get to the point where you want to connect it, you just do a little chain stitch and then start crocheting in the round around each leg hole instead of the entire thing. So I'm going to get down to about where it looks like a skirt and then make little hot shorts exactly like this. So I never wear these shorts, and I don't really like them because they are made out of acrylic. These are one of the first like wearables I ever made, and I am quite proud of them. I wore them to a music festival. I wore them to the Hangout in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I don't regret it. They were perfect, and it rained and it was sandy, and I think acrylic is a really durable fiber for those type of events, but day to day, absolutely not. And you can see that it doesn't stretch at all, and it also doesn't spring back to the size that it's supposed to be. So what I did was sewed in a little drawstring that's invisible. You can't really see it. And I'll probably have to do the same thing for these hot shorts as well, because I have like a hip to waist ratio that's more like a triangle rather than up and down, especially these days. Yeah, I don't like doing this method of construction at all because my like hip to waist ratio is a bit extreme. And it can be tough to make something that is stretchy enough to go over my hips, but also tight enough to go around my waist comfortably. So the odds of me needing to add a drawstring in order to get the fit correct is rather high, but you know, that's how it is. The bikini top is done in a shell stitch, and then I've got a little accent flower in the middle, and so I'll probably do the shorts in a shell stitch as well and add some flower accents once I'm done. Probably won't have time for that, but it's okay, we can be aspirational. This yarn always recommends a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter hook, which I find to be way too small. This is my 3.5 millimeter hook. It was my grandmother's, so this is one of my heirloom hooks that has just been in the family for a while. And it's originally gold, but you can kind of see that it's turned silver. And something else that I noticed is that it actually has a curve moving forward. I've put thousands of hours onto this hook and I have no idea how often my grandmother used it. So this hook could easily have like 10,000 hours on it, maybe more. And over time, the pressure of me like holding the yarn to it has bent the hook. As much as I love this hook, I think that it will be just a little too small for this project. So I'm going to use my 4 millimeter hook instead, I believe. But for the waistband, I'll use this hook and then I'll switch to this one for the rest of the project. So I created a waistband that was 4 to 5 inches too small to fit around my hips in an attempt to do it correctly, but as you can see, it's much too big. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong here, but it's fine, that's my lot in life. I have 2 rows of the shell stitch completed, and that's used it's used a good bit of yarn. This is getting a little flat, so I am definitely going to need to supplement with the solid colors. I think I'm going to do this entire ball of yarn and then add a solid band and then move back into more rainbow, but we'll just see how it looks as we go. And I was right, this method is not even close to getting around my waist, so I think I'm going to add a waistband pretty soon so that way I can get an idea of what the actual fit will be like. I decided to just crochet until I ran out of yarn for that first ball of yarn, and then once that was finished, added a drawstring so I could get an idea of the fit and exactly how long I would need the shorts to be in order to fit me. I am super glad I decided to do a shell stitch for the shorts because I find that the color pooling just looks so much nicer than with just straight rows where it kind of makes this striped effect, and with the shell stitch it has this like beautiful, just like bubbly, I love it so much. Ball of yarn here gave me about 3.5 inches of fabric and I need about 10 inches of length, which means 2 will give me 7, 10.5. I think I only need like 1 row of the blue and the orange. It's gonna be cutting it tight, but I think that will work. If we run out of yarn, we run out of yarn. I'm just gonna trust the process. We're just gonna commit to the rainbow, and I think it's gonna work. Yes, my husband did nail a blanket to the wall to cover the window in an attempt to keep the house a little bit cooler. Wow. Beautiful. I'm going to split this little skirt I have into 2 by making a chain stitch in between my legs, and then I will crochet around each leg individually, which will turn this little mini skirt into a pair of mini hot shorts. And I would love to give more detail about how this is done, but I find this is such an awkward place to describe. So I will direct y'all to Ikoxun's video where she shows you how to create shorts just like this. I believe she's using like a half double crochet or something and I'm using a shell stitch, but the concept is the same. So I will direct y'all there and come back when I have something that is already in the next step. Alright, that is the shorts finished. I have this much yarn left, so I ended up using the exact right amount to have basically none left over. And they fit really nice. They're very loose. I definitely can't get them wet because I know how much this fabric will stretch when it's wet. So these are a sit by the pool and look pretty type of short, which everything, honestly, in my opinion, everything crocheted cotton is like that. When you get it wet, it's stretchy. It would be like trying to wear a t-shirt and keep it all in the right spots. It's not going to happen. So I now have my matching set completed just in time to take some nice pictures, maybe go for a walk along the beach, not doing any swimming or hard exercise in these things. So I've decided to have Baxter model them for you so that you can see what they look like, because I do not feel like trying them on myself in front of a camera. I can't bring myself to do it. It's a bikini.
Thank you. Oh, what a good helper boy.
Thank you.
Did you do a good job? Did such a good job. Oh, you're such a good helper.
Now that this is done, the next step for me is to get my project for the airplane sorted. I was planning on frogging that purple yarn and making a top, but I also have the exact same yarn in a mustard yellow and an army green, and I am feeling inspired to make a dress with it. So I'm gonna do a little bit of planning. I frogged this using my yarn winder, and I really had to fight for my life here because the yarn is just slightly too much yardage to fit on my yarn winder. So by the end, I was basically doing it by hand. It was a total pain. When I finally succeeded in besting my failed yoke, I took all of the colors that I had and gave them a little looky-loo. I think they look so gorgeous together that I can't not make a dress with them. Well, I have done what I set out to do. I finished the 2 projects that I wanted to bring to the beach with me, and then I have saved this yoke to use for a different project. You'll just have to tune in next time to see what these beautiful yarns turn into. These came in the mail like this, just like completely undone. So, you know, I can never in good faith recommend yarn because I think my tastes are very cheap. I'm very excited. I never thought I was going to finish a shawl. I've started it back in December, which is 6 months ago now, and I also made this top in January. So both of these have about 5 or 6 months on their just waiting to be finished pile. Been crocheting for like 17 many years, and so when you crochet that long, your whip pile just grows and grows and grows, and there's certain projects that you just can't return to because you don't remember what you were doing, or your technique is different now, and so what you do now looks way different. And so these 2 were on my pile to get finished, and it was not looking good for them. So I'm so glad I got the motivation to finish them and get 2 off my whip pile. I can't even count how many projects I have started and not finished, but I think that's just part of the process of crocheting. It's really exciting and motivating to start a new project, and if that's what you need to do your hobby that day, then that's what you should do. And I think that you're able to carry that momentum oftentimes to another project. Especially for me, I really enjoy working on 2 projects at the same time, and having things that I can sort of bounce back and forth to, different problems to solve, different things to look at. So I always have multiple projects going at all times, and I'm a strong supporter of that. I have never been a monogamous crocheter. I always have a ton of stuff going on. So I encourage you, if you just do not want to work on your current project, set it down and start a new one, because to me it's more important that we are relaxing and doing our hobby and having fun than it is to have some sort of productivity. I finished X projects in a month, you know? These were 6 months in the making, and now they're done, and I'm very excited about it. You make the rules, right? I make the rules, you make the rules. There are no rules. So because this was sort of a whip roundup, I am not doing a rubric or a big try on or a reveal. We are just going to give ourselves a pat on the back and say 10 out of 10 for finishing what we started. 10 points all around, A pluses, 100%. We did it. This was a participation grade, and I did it. Great job, me. So stay tuned for next time when we figure out what we are going to do with these beautiful soft bamboo yarn. Thank you so much for going through this process with me. I really appreciate your time. Needless to say, I have a lot planned for the future, so if you want to stick around and see that, feel free to subscribe, and we will see each other again at the beach. Bye.